Hello, welcome back to Better Sushi Live Nodding. In this episode, I want to show you a little bit of magic trick using Sverchok add-on. Let's get started. So I have this Sverchok nodes here, and I will create some kind of grid of cards. Okay, let's actually just create a plane. Outside is super noisy somehow, and we're gonna create viewer bmesh. Okay, so the plane we're gonna be using this, and how many planes do we need? Maybe, so think of these planes maybe like a card. So we're gonna need maybe 52 cards, but in this case I will just make 25 cards, and I want to be able to control the cards using just a single animated bones. So we don't have bones yet, we only have this single grid. Okay, so I can create another plane nodes. So plane nodes, and let's create 5 by 5. We have 25. Plug this into the matrix. So now we have 25 cards, but I like to merge it into a single plane, and let's actually adjust the size of the cards. So that's pretty good. So let's save this. This is a Sverchok card magic. I'm pretty sure we can accomplish the same using animation nodes, but for now I'll be using Sverchok. Okay, we have a card as a single object, so now we just need the bones. For the bones, I have a way to create the bones very quickly, simply by using line. So vertices and edges, make sure this has different names, so alpha and beta. And for this line, we want it to be pointing up in the z-axis, and the plane goes into the matrix. Now we have this just edges, lines, and now we are almost ready. We just, first of all, we need to bake the card, right? So just bake the card, turn this into a skin modifier, and then go to edit mode, select all, skin root mark. So we have this, something that can be a bones, and just create armature. Okay, so that's the whole process. I'm gonna save this, gonna save it again, and this time I'll just call it bake. So this is the first bake. Gonna delete everything. Yeah, it's okay, delete everything. Delete the skin. We end up with the bones. We end up with these cards. So now parent the cards into the bones with automatic wave. We can actually do this more procedurally, but I think that can be a little bit complicated. So, but for now it's good. We actually can rotate the cards, but if you try to use G, you cannot actually move the cards yet. So you need to go to, first of all, in the edit mode, go F3 once again and clear parent of the armature. So now if you go to the pose mode, you can actually move the cards. Okay, so that's first. Let's reset it. Option G, Option R. Save. This is bake. Okay, we don't have anything on here anymore. We don't have the node tree or anything. If you want to drive the armature, you can actually do that already. I'll show it to you. So object ID, selector, get our armature, and then object ID set for the locations of the bones actually. So post bones, and then this can be the locations. If you actually try to randomize this, so we have 25, and we go to object mode, you can see this guy is randomized. Okay, but they are kind of just actually an offset. So the original position of the bones is actually currently on the grid. I don't like that so much, even though this is already pretty cool, and you can make all sort of things already. But I want these cards to be stacked. How can I do that? You know, if you try to put line, stack this guy, so it's not really working. Of course, it's just like an offset. You put a value and it's offsetting the cards. I want to be able to reset these post bones. Okay, so the trick here maybe is to use a matrix math. So we grab our armature. We have this local bone matrix. I'm gonna invert it. So this is the invert of each bone. And if I output this guy, the locations is gonna be the reset position of the bones. So that's actually really interesting, because you can now use a line. For example, you can stack the cards. So this is the first little trick. There are probably another way to do this. I mean, of course, you can always you can also use maybe animation nodes for this. Animation nodes have a nice matrix reset stack as well. But yeah, this is one way to do it using Sverchok. So now we have 25 cards. Each one of them is stacked. You can add solidify, just in case you want it solid. And you can do anything with this now, basically, because you can randomize this a little bit, you know. And now the nice thing about this is that, of course, everything is very clean. Single armature, 25 cards as a single object. Each one of them can have different face. The idea, I mean, if you have an image of cards, an actual cards, and then you let it out in the grid, and then you take a photo, that can become a UV for this card. And now you can control this card in any way you want, because it's already reset. This is matrix invert from the bones. That's resetting the position of the armature. So if you want to have like a circle, you can actually do that as well. You're gonna lay it out this in the circle. So this is what I mean, like a magic tricks. One thing, of course, we are only playing around with the locations. We don't rotate the cards whatsoever. But that's probably for the next tutorial. In animation nodes, you have a couple of things that you can use to control the matrix a little bit better. For now, it's really yeah, just we're gonna be using just the locations, and this is, of course, Sverchok, because and you have a couple of things that you can use to animate the actual card. Okay, one little trick is that you can use animation nodes to actually drive this. Okay, if you try to keyframe it, it's not gonna work. But if you animate it using animation nodes and then you bake it, that's actually gonna work. To bake it into something like AR or GLB, that's also another thing. Maybe I'll discuss it in the next video, but for now this is the basic. Okay, maybe this is just 25 cards. I can have like 1,000 cards, each one with different face that I want to randomize. But this is really actually a good little knowledge for you to be able to reset the position of the cards. You can use plane, you can use vector P field, plug this in. So really, I think that's pretty cool. previously I was actually baking the armature. Okay, ideally we can keep everything, including the armature, being generated using nodes. But even so, I think this is a good kind of like a good beginning for you to understand about objects. This is, in a way, this is almost like a particles. If we have control over particles positions like this, then you can have more objects, like millions. For now, armature is good for thousands of objects. What I mean by objects, of course, each and every single element here. Maybe it can be a polygon face, it can be the plane, if you have like a UV, the shell of the mesh become a single object being controlled by the bones. If you actually play around with this idea further, you can for example make these cards walking like a character. That's, I will probably give you example. That's a little bit complicated if you want to control everything procedurally using nodes. However, maybe at some point we can use grease pencil, make an animations of like a simple stick figure animations, and then transfer that data to control the cards. Okay. In the future, I will use a proper texture for the cards. But there you go. Hopefully, you find this useful. Your ability to inverse the bones position and then control the bones from original positions like 000, like particles. All right. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.